When we decided to start our podcast, we really wanted something that was fun and easy and user-friendly for our listeners. So the Anchor app has been a blessing. We can do literally everything here. We record, we edit, we upload everything right here on the Anchor app. It's super, super easy to use and super user-friendly. I strongly recommend you guys download the Anchor app by going to your app store and typing in Anchor, and you'll see it pop right up. It's literally been a blessing to us. It's the best thing that we have for podcasting and sharing our podcast. So you guys be sure to do that. Anchor app.
Girl, I'm a strong black woman, girl. I left him, girl. I gave him back all his money, all his cars, all his shit. I gave him back all that shit, girl. He be calling me right now, trying to get back with me, girl. I ain't with that shit. I said,
So you trying to tell me you gave him back all his shit? You ain't got nothing. You walked away with nothing.
Yeah, girl, I gave him back all that shit, girl. I ain't with that shit. Girl, Girl, I ain't told you to do no shit like that. You done lost your motherfucking mind.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's Victoria Balenciaga.
And it's Mocha 3 Bad.
And we are in the motherfucking building.
You're always so extra.
I know, I can't help it.
It's never like, hey girls, hey. It's always, we in the motherfucking house.
Okay.
I know, but I'm so glad I said that. Just Friday. If you guys are a member of the Gawdess Lounge, we had a virtual sleepover.
It was so fun. My God.
So much fun. And I wanted to bring that up because y'all are not a part of our girl gang.
It's like the best thing ever.
It really is. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you join our group. It's the Gawdess Lounge. The only catch is you have to be a woman. Other than that, join our group. Y'all missing out on all the good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, episode 4 was really cool. We had a lot of feedback on the Hold Me Down segment, which was basically how women are doing their parts, but the men kind of running when it comes to the for sicker or poor, health and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that brought us to this obvious point in the road where we have to start talking about relationships.
I'm excited. Let's do it.
I am not. I hate talking about relationships, but because it's like I don't know if I don't know if I just get so frustrated that things aren't like they used to be the good old days, but then I didn't live through the good old days, so I can't really call it the good old days. So it's like I'm just such a traditionalist. Like I like things to be traditional, and things are just not. And speaking of relationships, just has to be another reminder that, things are not how they used to be.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? Before we jump in on that, just our regular disclaimer. These are our opinions.
And we said what we fucking said.
Okay. And that's it. It's not law. If you want to follow it, follow it. If you don't.
And I don't even know if we're telling anybody to follow anything we're saying. We're just speaking our fucking minds. If you are not mature enough to know that, and the best thing you can do is leave us feedback so that we can talk back to you. Exactly. When we're doing these podcasts, we're going off of our heads. We're just rambling most times. So if you have something to say it, and we'll respond, honey.
Okay, but just love to respond.
Just know shade will be met with shade, and that's really it. No, but if you have something to say, be sure to leave us feedback. What our word is not the law, but we do love some constructive criticism, so that'd be cool. I mean, I guess. But yeah, so we finally got to a point in this podcast where we have to speak about relationships. And again, I'm stressed out about this. Like, as much as I have to say, it stresses me out to talk about this topic. It's always I'm breathing, but it just always seems like there's some ongoing theme about men versus women.
Oh yeah.
And like, you can't speak your mind as a woman these days without a man saying, "Oh, you're bashing us." No, I'm telling y'all what the fuck is going on. And yeah, it's stressful. But
it really is. I think it's like everything's like men do this, women do that, men do this, women do that, and vice versa. And it's just,
and I feel like there's no other time where we should just all sit down and be able to see eye to eye, because at the end of the day, we all need each other. Or do we? That's a really good question. Do we still need each other?
Okay, so do we still need each other, as in, like, do we all need each other, or is like, do we as in personally?
Okay, so all right, I have a great example. So I don't know if you have been keeping up with the hot topics. Rihanna has went on some article and said how she doesn't really care if she has a man or not. She's going to have children, a whole heap of them, apparently, homegirl. So she want 4 or 5.
Okay, get it.
You can tell she ain't got one, because once you have one, that 4 and 5 children statement goes out the fucking door. But anywho, Rihanna says that she is fully able and capable of having and raising children by herself, with or without a man. Of course, we all know that she would love to do it with a man by her side, raising these children. But she says that she'd rather do it alone. I mean, well, she'd rather have children. She doesn't care whether she does it alone.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this statement?
I don't feel any type of way about it. If that's how she feels, she has the resources to do it. If that's the desire of her heart, if she really knows that since she was a kid, she's always wanted to be a mother, go for it. If you could do it, do it.
Right. But do you think that she's making a decision for her children that they're going to be raised without a father, more than likely? So is that fair? Again, that goes back to our point. Do we need each other?
I didn't take it that way.
How did you take it?
I took it as her saying she knows that she's, how old is she? 31?
I think 32. She's 32.
Okay, 32. And that she wants children. And I think she's single right now. So she's like with or without a man, like without having like a husband or a boyfriend at this current time. She would go ahead and start having children soon at some point. I don't think the way I took it was that at the moment, if she doesn't have a man, then it's whatever. But she's totally okay with stepdaddy season, if you get what I'm saying.
But that would be an implied thought, because she didn't say, well, I'm going to just have children and then I'll find the right man later. Of course, it's obviously implied, but it's not what she's saying. She can also have children and then doesn't have time to date. She said her life would be totally different. She does not expect to be working as much. She just wants to be a mother and have a family, but she's going to have a family that might not have a man in it. Probably, even if it's only for the first 10 years of these kids' lives, however many of them she ends up having. Is that fair to the children? Do they deserve a father figure in their lives?
I think all kids deserve a father figure. So yeah.
So we need each other, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think we need each
other.
I
agree. I think their fathers are definitely necessary. I don't disagree with what she's saying, because women have a biological clock. She has to definitely do what she has to do before that clock goes to running out. But I just feel like in her stance, when we say, oh, Rihanna, she has the resources to do so.
Yeah.
Would you tell that same thing to a girl who doesn't have the money that Rihanna has, that, oh, you should have a child with or without a man?
No, I wouldn't. And it's not just because of the money, but if, let's just say you don't even have a place to live, like you're living with a roommate or something like that, and you don't even have a place to live and you want to have a child and do all this stuff, I would never suggest for you to do that. Like, it depends on your circumstances. Not necessarily how much money she has.
Even if she doesn't, let's just say the person does have somewhere to stay and keep these kids, and they're not Rihanna and they don't have Rihanna's money, but they're in a position where they can have children.
Yeah. Okay.
And
if you can afford to, yes, I suggest to anyone that can afford to have a child,
even if it's without another parent.
Yes.
But see, I'm so glad you said that, because that brings it back to my point. I feel like, is money the root to a man? Like, we're saying, okay, I'm not saying that money is all that a man brings to the table, because we know that stern voice in the home, that that presence of a man, the confidence that it brings to boys, it's just, that's not what we're taking away. But we are somewhat saying that without money, women should not have babies out here by themselves and blah, blah, blah. So we're basically tying a man's role in child rearing to his money or financially, whether he's important or not. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the part that always brings me to where I'm going.
Okay. So I don't know where you're going yet, and I'm excited to find out. But once again, I do think that the man factors in. It's important to have a male presence in the child's life, but for me, it's not because of just finances, though.
All right. So then you would say to Rihanna, too, then that she should not have children without a man if it was more than finances, because she has the finances, which is resources, to have children with or without a man.
No, I think that there should still be father figures in any child's life.
Okay, cool.
Just for sense of balance, but go ahead.
There you go. The word balance. You definitely hit the nail on the head with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that you need a man?
I think that I need a man, but I don't have a desperate need for a man. Like, I'm not willing to settle or tolerate certain things just to be able to say I have a man. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need a man. Can you give me your reasons for needing a man? If it's, and then I'm going to ask you another question. So let me ask the question now, so that way you won't intertwine the two. Do you need a man or do you need a relationship?
If you're talking about me, I need a man.
Whether you have a relationship or not.
No, I need a relationship with that man. You're confusing me. You're confusing me. Okay, so when you're saying, do you need a man? Are you saying like, okay, do I need a man that's just in my life that I call for certain things or I bring around for certain things?
You can have a relationship with a man that's not, your
so
husband or,
relationship.
Yeah. So when I say you need a man or you need a relationship with a man, that's two different things. I need men in my life. I love the influence that they have. I love, having someone to lean on and for this reason. But when you say you need a relationship, you're saying I can't live without this person.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I need my relationship.
Okay. So you need a relationship because you cannot live without your man.
Yes. That's why I decided
even
to
if
marry
you can live without him, you don't want to live without him.
Exactly.
So you want your relationship.
Yeah.
Interesting. Deep. I want to say kind of opposite. I feel like I need men and I need a man, but I don't need a relationship. I would like a relationship. Yeah, I would like a relationship. I would like, to be in love, and I would like to, do all these things for life with someone. Of course, I think that would be a lie for any woman or any man to say that they don't see themselves having a partner for life. But if I only could have to choose like one or the other, I would say men in general are more of a use outside of a relationship than just in a relationship. Like, I need men for a list of reasons. I need a man. A man is needed. But in a relationship, I don't really care. I'm not a needy person, as like emotionally, like I don't really need sex as much anymore. I'm not, a young spring chicken, things like that. So I don't know if those two things make a difference, but I need men around, but I don't need a man around for life.
Okay.
And I don't know. And that's what I asked literally the other day in the Gawdess Lounge. I asked, what are the benefits? Like, what would a man have to do to be, to sit at your table, or what does he have to bring to the table to be in your relationship with them? And a lot of women tied everything to something financially. And it just made me think, well, and I'm lying. It was not in the Gawdess Lounge. It was in another group that I'm in, the link. But a lot of men was like, oh, I don't want to die alone. And the women were, oh, shared responsibility for children, to reproduce. I think it was having someone to have my back, stuff like that. But again, to me, it all seemed like it was tied to resources. Okay. But that comes down to there's reasons why men and women have these needs for each other. There's a a theory called the evolved preferences theory, and it basically says that men are attracted to feminine women who are healthy and pretty and fertile looking, and women are attracted to men who are healthy and can provide for their children if they decide to reproduce with them. And it all makes sense because, again, back to the beginning, there's a person who gives life, and then a person who takes care of it. But if we're not together, then how can the world, evolve?
Yeah.
And the population, continue.
Mm-hmm.
But it all boils down to, do we need each other? If you can sit here and say you need your relationship has to have benefits, right?
Absolutely.
What are the benefits of a relationship these days?
So one of the benefits, of course, like we covered already, kind of, sort of, is the financial benefits of being in a relationship. And mind you, everything that I'm about to say is based off of being in a relationship with the right person, because you can be in bad relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's social benefits. You have that person that you do stuff with, you go to events with, stuff like that. There's biological benefits, reproducing, if that's what you guys choose to do. Emotional benefits. Personally, I believe that there's needs that we have internally that can only be fulfilled by someone that you are on a different level of intimacy with. And that's all I could think of on.
Can you break that last one down for me a little?
The emotional benefits. I might be, as close as ever to you, and there's things that I will never divulge to you that I would divulge to the man that I am in a relationship with. Because that person, I'm going to speak a little bit more into the marriage factor. When you're married to someone and you take your vows, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. This is the person who, if I am like 80 and incontinent, is going to change my diapers and do all this stuff for me and see me in every single different type of way. So it's like a different level of intimacy that you share with that person.
Okay, so if you were not married and you had a friend who, let's just say you and your best friend are both unmarried, and you guys live together at 60 or 70 years old. I'm going to say 70, put a little, age into it.
Yeah.
Could this person not change your diapers and be there for you emotionally, physically?
Could they? They could. However, I still think that there would be a lack. That there would be like a part of me, I'm speaking for myself personally, that would want or have a need to be with the person that I'm involved with. And I don't want to say a man, because this could be even, if you're into women or into the same sex, it could be, the same gender. But knowing myself, it would have to be like, I'm married, my husband.
All right. So it's your husband because of that masculinity? Is it, what is, like, that's what I'm saying. To me, I'm one of those people who believe, and I guess because I see it in my daily, not now because we're all in quarantine, but I see it in my life where these young kids are now very sexually fluent. They have girlfriends, they have boyfriends, they are dressing like men when they're women, and boys dressing like girls, although they're boys. So there's become some sort of like less gender roles. And again, like I said in the last episode, when we go to talking about gender roles, I can talk for days, and that's probably my problem. I'm very specific on feminine and masculine, and these days those lines are so blurred that I don't think that in 100 years, or even, and I'm giving 100 years being generous, I don't think that in 25 or 30 years that these kids would care if their soulmate or their spouse or their partner or their forever bae is going to be a man or a woman, or like if there's a need for both. Because the way our lives are playing out, we're kind of infusing, the balance between what a man does and what a woman does has not become balanced, it's become equal. Which equal is always, to me, a problem. I don't want to be equal to a man. I want to be treated fairly. but not equally to a man. And I don't think a man can be treated equally to a woman because we both have so many different needs and standards for each other that if we were to treat each other equally, it would not be fair to somebody. Does that make sense?
Give me an example.
50-50.
Yeah, but give me an example of how it wouldn't be fair.
50-50 to me, I feel it's unfair to a woman. But it's fair and it's equal, but it's unfair to a woman. Because, again, there's an evolved preferences theory. That theory basically says a woman's upward mobility in life is suspended the moment that she has children and she begins to raise them. So we all know that men get paid substantially more than women in the same job roles.
Okay.
Women get paid 79 cents to $1. That's the national average for the gender difference in wage. They get paid more. So even if we were still running the same race and a woman was still making, the less than a man, she still has, if she has the child, she's going to not be able to work. She's not going to be able to raise the children properly and still be in the workforce. But a man, he can have a child and just keep going in his life. Right?
Yeah, because of the fact that he's not down and out for a few months?
Not even a few months. He still has to raise children for 18 years.
Yeah.
Someone has to be raising these children. Children don't come out as adults. They don't come out eating, and feeding themselves and all this. But basically, the evolved preferences theory says that a woman's upward mobility is decreased significantly by childbirthing and rearing. And we women naturally select partners who can take care of them, our children. We would not have children by a man who could not financially take care of them.
I don't know now.
But
I've seen some shit in my life.
But this is where the word evolved comes into place, because if we were thinking preferences theory, then that's not, our preferences sometimes fuck us over.
Yeah.
But if the evolved preferences theory was used in place when dating, that we should date people who can take care of us and our children, then maybe things wouldn't be so bad. But if you asked how are the lines getting blurred, 50-50, that's a very equal situation for two single people who live in a home together that they've purchased together, and they are, both going out into the world and coming home. And it only works if the woman is making more than this man, because again, the man makes more than her for less work. So if we're going 50-50 on something and I'm coming home making less than you and still putting 50% into the house, although that's very equal, it's not fair. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if we are going 50-50 into a house, but I have children by you, and although you do, obviously, I'm talking about people of good character and moral standards here. Obviously, yes, you do help raise your children. Yes, you do spend time with them. But because you make more, I allow you to sleep at night. I'll get up and check on the baby, right? Because as a woman, it makes sense. I'm the person who makes less money is going to be the person who takes more sacrifices when it comes to a child. So again, her career is no longer a need in their household. It's a huge factor, but his job is a need, right? Her upward mobility is being slowed down because she can't do the same things he can do. So to me, I don't think 50-50 is fair, but that's what our society is becoming.
Okay.
So you asked for an example. That's the example, 50-50. I feel like that balance is not equal and it's not fair. But if that's what a relationship is, what's the purpose of a relationship? To split bills with somebody?
I don't even think that 50-50 is a relationship. So.
Okay, so there we go. So if you don't think 50-50 is a relationship, I don't think 50-50 is a relationship either. I do, see it a lot, and there's a lot of people, and again, these are our opinions. Whatever works for your house and keeps a roof over your head, you do that. But why is 50-50 not a relationship?
I just don't think that it's it's never realistically going to be equal in a relationship. I think there's times that somebody's going to be, I'm just throwing out numbers, 70-30, 40-60, whatever it is. I just don't think it's ever going to be a time that we're completely on even playing ground unless we are working at the same exact job, getting the same exact pay, have the same exact life. Like, and that's never going to happen. So.
All right. So you know what? I'm going to go into this a little further, but I think it's a good time to get into our first commercial.
Let's do it.
And we'll be right back.
The Hair Gawds, selling the highest quality of virgin hair available. Our celebrity clientele, custom wigs, and coloring set us apart. With wholesale hair available in Malaysian, Brazilian, Indian, Eurasian, Filipino, Cambodian, Mongolian, and Peruvian inches 10 to 32. Get ready to receive our fast shipping, exciting purple packaging from the Gawdess gang. Be sure to follow us at The Hair Gawds. Check us out online at www.thehairgawds.com or call us at 1-800-422-6191.
Shout out to the Hair Gawds.
I actually really love that commercial. Sean D did such a amazing job. Yeah, but I want to add that if you want to text us or if you're local, you can always call us at 305-204-8335. And of course, you can always reach us at www.thehairgawds.com. I did want to get back into what you were saying. You were saying that a relationship is never 50-50 because you believe it's like 70-30 or sometimes 60-20, 60-40. Yeah, it's always something different because everyone has different lives and, you know, bring different things to the table. And I agree. But, yeah, I just personally couldn't be turned on by men that I have to go completely half on. Like, how is that even a relationship? That's a roommate. That's a friend. And even so, I don't even go 50-50 with my friends at dinner. So I don't know. Yeah, can you keep on with that thought?
Yeah, so like I said before, I just think people have different circumstances. Growing up, like I have to be very objective somewhat in this topic because like growing up, I was taught two things that actually tie into one another. So I grew up in a household with my mother for the majority of my life, but my father was very present. I saw my dad every day. So he just didn't live in the house. But my father taught me how a man is supposed to treat you and supposed to provide for you and all that stuff. And my mother taught me the same thing. So they kind of was like the same at the same time. But they also taught me that when it comes to finances, you don't ever let a man run your finances, period, or ever like, don't ever make that an issue in your relationship. Do you get what I'm trying to say here, or should I elaborate?
You can elaborate, but I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, like they would be like, you know, don't ever be in a position where your finances are dependent on a man. So that being said, know how to make your own money, know how to save your own money, know how to do all that stuff. So when it comes to the 50-50 thing, do I have a problem with 50-50? Not necessarily. Do whatever works for your relationship. I just don't like to be asked. Don't ask me for nothing. Like, I don't like that. Something about that bothers me. You know, you said you'd be turned off by, if you had to do the 50-50 thing, it's like your roommate.
Yes.
My turn off would be you coming to me and saying, hey, so we're going to get this apartment and, this is your total of bills for the month. And this is my total. I'll go do this by myself. Okay, bye. You know, that's just how I feel about it.
Definitely agree. And I have to say that although I was raised by a single mother, which most of us are, again, that goes back to what I was saying, that usually when a couple splits, the children usually live with the mother. Of course, it's not always, but that's most of the time. But I was raised by a single mother who definitely put it in me to be strong, independent. She was a very tough love mom, but then I had a dad who was very soft, loving, and gentle and motivating. He was there for everything all the time. If you've known me growing up, you know that my dad was at every event. He was very present. And my dad also gave me standards that I believe that women should have for their relationships and in men, which is a man is supposed to treat a woman differently. And it went even so back, like I have two brothers. I'm the only the only girl. And my dad would never give my brothers the $5. But if they went in the house before me, he would make sure I had $5 in my pocket. And I'm like, don't tell your brothers I gave you this money. And I'm like, why? Because girls are always supposed to keep money in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
He need to know how to make his own. And I didn't understand, of course,
but I took
whatever. But I surely took it, and I always had my chips and my juice, and I didn't have to beg a man for anything because my dad was the one giving it to me, and then he wasn't leaving me, his child, his daughter, out in here to be at the ice cream truck for a little boy to buy me something and then sway me because he bought me $1 worth of chips and juice. So again, just like you, I was raised by both parents, even though they were in separate homes.
Yeah.
But even so, even though my dad was always present, and even though my dad did, an amazing job raising me, I can't discredit the fact that my mom did a lot of shit. Yeah. She was the one who woke up at 6 a.m. and went to sleep at 10 p.m. after we were asleep, cooked, cleaned, made sure the roof was over our head, make sure with or without my father's help, we always had the best of everything, and those things are not 50-50. It doesn't matter if my dad was there for everything outside of the home. If I'm living with him, he's doing more. I mean, she's doing more. If I'm living with my mom, she was doing more. Mm-hmm. And again, let's take away from it just being about kids. It's the 50-50 thing. To me, it's emasculating for a man to step to me as a woman and says that he needs my help in order for him to provide a roof for our house over our heads. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not that I'm not supposed to help. I don't think that, 50-50 should even be a thing. I believe it's 100-100.
Okay.
Men bring 100% to their table and women bring 100% in the table, but again, in different ways. So there's no way to be both equal and fair, because if a woman is cooking, cleaning, washing your clothes, making sure that you're in bed and up and, your lunch is packed and that you're coming home to a peaceful environment, she's doing 100% of her job to help you get out there into the world to do your job.
Okay.
That's what the balance is 100-100. But with this 50-50 thing, it's like we're neutral. There's no masculine, there's no feminine, there's no gender roles. And I just couldn't get turned on by that because, again, to bring up this book that somebody in one of our groups posted was what is it called? What is the name of the book? Do you remember?
Something of a Man, I believe.
A guy in our group that we're in, he posted a super great book, and it basically just broke down how men and women are different. I think it's the way of the superior man. Mm-hmm. And this book, it just basically says that the reason that women have such a problem committing to men nowadays is basically there's a lack of a dominant masculinity. And it even goes so far to say that even in homosexual relationships, there's a masculine and feminine role. There's tops, there's bottoms, there's femmes, and there's studs. And those two don't usually intertwine. Like, there's not usually two femmes and two studs or two tops or two bottoms. There's a feminine and a masculine. And it's because those two things, those feminine and masculine, brings sexuality. So how can I be turned on by someone who is not strong in their masculinity? Like, a man is his pride, his word, his, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it in some ways just makes him, you're no better or different than me. And although women are better in their own ways too, but there has to be some type of difference. And there's just not. And it's like, there's no sexual charge between the two, because how can you lay down with someone who just asked you to pay $50 on the $100 light bill? Mm-hmm. I can do it.
Yeah.
No, don't.
I'm just thinking, like,
come again. Say what? What was in your mind?
I'm just thinking about a nigga asking me to pay 50% of something and then getting into my bed, like.
Girl, I think that even Steve Harvey said this, like, again, to tie it back earlier, Rihanna has a biological clock, but women have biological clocks, men have a financial clock. And I agreed with Steve Harvey saying that. And I was going to say Rihanna has a biological clock, but she is able to kill two birds in one stone because she's as a woman, she's a woman who has her maternal instincts and all this, but she's also a millionaire. She's financially set herself together. So she's financially stable and she's biologically ready to have a child. So she's able to be the both feminine and masculine because she has a stronghold over her own finances. And I feel like when you take away that stronghold of finances from a man, like if he's not financially securing himself, number one, the relationship is going to be hell. Have you ever dated a broke nigga? I'm sure you have. Like we all have dated at least one broke nigga.
I've had dreams of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot you. But when you had that dream,
yes,
of dating a broke man, was he happy?
No, he was miserable in the dream, so I would call it a nightmare. But it was a phase. It wasn't like he was a broke nigga the whole entire time. No, but it was like a phase of brokenness in the dream.
I don't know one happy man who's broke.
100%, I agree.
When men are not financially where they want to be, they are not nice. They are not loving. They're not caring. They don't give a damn about nothing. They just want to get their dick don't even get hard. And if a man is listening to me right now and can say my dick did get hard when I was broke, you ain't no man. I'm sorry. I don't say a lot of things definitively, but can't no man in this world tell me he was happy and broke at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the most miserable shit ever. And it translates into a relationship. So I'm one of those people who believe that you should probably have your shit together before you go step into anybody, whether you're a man or a woman. Financially, you should have your shit together.
100%.
But again, men have left, like, that stronghold of their finances is their power. Being financially secure in themselves is their power all around. When they are financially secure, they're mentally stronger. They are selective. They can pick and choose who they want to be with, and they don't have to be with women they don't even fucking like. That's their stronghold. And it's like when they traded off that stronghold of money, like their finances being their pride and glory, and they said, okay, well, that's not really that important to me because I'd rather have a woman who does the same thing that I do, then that's when things become unfair, because women didn't trade off having kids. We can't trade off raising those kids once we have them. And men can. And it's like, when back to the evolved preferences theory is, if I'm with you, I see a future with you. If I see a future with you, I see myself marrying you, having your children, them growing, raising them, growing them old, us growing old together, and living and dying with each other, right?
Yeah.
If you're saying to me that you don't even care whether you can provide for us in the event of me, doing my part, then you're no longer a worthy mate to me. And I just feel like that's where the benefit of a relationship has died. I can't be sexually attracted to someone I gotta be equal to. Fair and equal to me are two different things. So that's why, in the very longest story ever, that's why a relationship isn't fair to me. I think the benefits of a relationship have changed dramatically because men are not holding on to those gender roles, and not blaming it on the men, because I feel like women are too masculine. But I don't know if I said it in episode 4 or 3. I feel like the family structure, the relationship structure changed when women were taken out of the home. A lot of times Black men especially say, oh, women kicked us out of the home to get Section 8 and to get what are the other things, food stamps and all these benefits. But no, women want you in the home, but y'all took her out of it by making her get up at 6 a.m. and coming home at 10 p.m. after a long day of working, or 6 a.m. coming home at 5 p.m. and then still have to cook, clean, take care of children, and then want her to service you too. That's how a relationship died to me. And I just don't feel like, as a woman, I need all, if someone's not doing more for me than that, why am I signing up for the extra work of taking care of another person
when you could probably do that all by yourself?
And we can do it all by myself.
Yeah. See, you make a lot of great points, but for me, where I think that relationships are kind of changing or going on a wrong path is more so because of social media.
Oh, social media is another thing that we could talk about forever too.
It's just like people are watching, you know, they're scrolling on their phones all damn day, and they're seeing, you know, people having multiple girlfriends or multiple boyfriends, or I don't take this nigga seriously, he's just this. I don't take this woman seriously, she's just that. And it's just like, it's all this nonsense that people are consuming is making them want to try out and making them want to repeat this behavior. And it's affecting their actual relationships, in my opinion.
I agree. I think technology as a whole, it's not even just social media.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so easily accessible. Porn. Remember the days back in the days, niggas used to have to wait till they get home to push in the tape and go to work on themselves. Now, nigga all in traffic beating his meat because he got porn all on his phone. Technology just made everything so quick. Microwaves made food faster. So we lost the value of a home cooked meal. The appreciation for it. I think the value of a home cooked meal is the same, but the appreciation for a home cooked meal, we lost the appreciation of working for things like calculators. Everything is just so quick to me. So I don't want to just blame it solely on social media, even though it's a big fucking part. Social media killed a lot of things, but just too much technology. Like if we were living in the back in the day where we just had 12 basic channels on TV, a phone that was plugged into the wall, and, you know, focus on our fucking selves, I think our relationships would be much different.
100%.
And that's why in 100 years, I don't even see the need for a fucking relationship, because everything is so watered down. And that was really my whole point, is that everything is watered down. If everybody's equal and everybody's fair and we're all doing this and we're not keeping our traditions like strong, then what's the value? What's the need for a relationship?
Yeah. That's why it's so important to be with the right person. I do think there is someone out there for everyone. I do.
Statistically, that's probably an invalid statement in 2020, because women, the pickings are slim with homosexuals, incarcerated men. I mean, there's someone out there for everyone. We just gotta. He done been through some things, and so has she. They done been around the block. They done spent the block, bitch, a few times. But yeah, I just want us to get back to a lot of our traditions so that we can get back to needing a relationship, because I personally think that need is such a strong word when it comes to needing a relationship now. If we can do everything that man used to do, then why do we need a man? And if a man can do everything that a woman used to do, then why does he need a woman? If a man has to come off of work, cook, clean, and you know, rub one out himself, and he's perfectly happy with that, I don't even blame him, because, you know, what I mean, aside from the emotional support, which they are not. Do people even need emotional support anymore?
People need emotional support.
They damn sure do, because they
mental health is at an all-time high. Like, honestly.
But that's the thing, though. It's not that we don't need it. It's just people are not seeing the importance of it, because they've traded in that support, that mental, that spiritual, that romance, all that. They traded in for their cell phones, and they're online for hours, you know, living through everybody else, instead of really saying, you know what, I'm sick of holding this phone in my hand at night. I want to hold a bitch instead.
You know, but something that, like, when we're speaking of this right now, I just thought about, and even I'm like, I'm guilty of this. I used to be able to, like, not to say my attention span is shorter, but like, even now, if you send me a video or tag me to a video that's like 7 minutes,
I can't watch but the first 3. And that's if I haven't scrolled past the first minute to get to the plot of it all. And then if it's really, really good, I'll probably go back and like, okay,
exactly. So it's like, imagine if we're obviously not the only people that feel this way. Imagine when you're in a relationship with someone, can you even pay attention to him when he's trying to tell you about his day? Can you pay attention to her?
Can we even talk to each other? That's the point. Like, we were so deep into technology that we have lost that importance of being able to communicate, like open our mouths and speak. No, we'll send a nigga a 5-page text message before we say those same things on
And
our line.
that's why it's important, like in your relationship, to have, do whatever works for you. Honestly, that keeps both parties happy. But like a good idea is if your partner is like really into their phone, okay, when we have date nights, there's no phones, or after a certain time of night, or no phones in the bed, or you know what I mean? Like, because you have to connect with one another without all this other shit that's going on. It's crazy.
A nigga get right in the bed on his laptop, on his phone, and then you expect to put that thing down and then just roll over and hump on top of me? Not happening. Ever. Not happening. Like, you're not. Again, I don't blame the men though, because women do it too, and women do it probably more. They're on social media learning how to put on a lace front, and they learning how to, mind other people's business, everything, YouTube and this, YouTube and that. So of course, like, it's not one way or the other, but again, it does take away the need for each other. We people can't even hold a full fucking conversation. Do you know how many times, and I can literally say this over and over, every time I meet a guy for the first time, and I don't mean in a romantic way, like even if I'm just meeting a neighbor and I have like a 3-minute conversation with them, they are usually blown away that as a woman, I'm able to hold a full conversation, articulate my thoughts and feelings, and express myself without being emotional. They always say, you know how hard it is to have a good conversation with people these days? I mean, it goes both ways, but that is such a common occurrence to me, because I personally don't watch enough TV where, I'm just stuck there. But I'm guilty now of being on social media way too much, and my head should be in a book. But I've gotten to a point where it's hard to find men who can have a good conversation too, let alone women, of anyone to just sit down and
people are not having conversations.
Anything, because again, technology. So it's just like the need of a relationship.
You know what? And this is a little bit off, but it's still on at the same time. Work with me, people. Follow me. One thing that really fucking pisses me off is if I'm talking to you right now, sir or madam, we're talking over the phone or we're talking in person. Why is it that it's easier for you to express yourself via technology, like a text message? Express yourself by throwing some type of subliminal on social media. Express yourself. Like, what happened to the good old days where it's like you call the person and say, listen, you hurt my feelings when this, or I'm not talking to you because of that, or blah, blah, blah. What happened to that?
Oh, I can tell you why. Attention.
That's a whole episode.
Is addicting. It's addicting as fuck. People are not used to this type of attention. You can always tell who is like the real super lame people, like the nobodies, people who finally get a chance to be somebody, and they just like OD, like, ugh. Yeah. All this is, I don't know. With all this being said, it just makes it really hard to believe that we just need a relationship, because it's not that I don't think that we need it. And I have to come back and say this, because I don't want anybody to think, oh, well, she don't need no man. Oh, she one of those strong Black women who don't need no man for nothing. I don't believe that. It's just that given the current climate, if a man is not financially securing himself, who knows the roles of a man in our lives and what he should be bringing to the table, I'm not going to be superwoman to you. And I just feel like, and it's personal as fuck to me when I say this, if I cannot be the best woman, mother, wife, friend, chef, porn star, lawyer, doctor, or whatever to you because of, your standards, then I can't be with you. If I know my man is going to hold me down, I'm going to be the best wife. I'm going to make sure that your house is immaculate when you walk through the door. I'm going to make sure when we lay down at night, you're going to think that you laid down with fucking Pamela what is it? Pamela
Anderson. Which one is the porn star? Dash Lee.
Oh yeah, because she married Tommy Lee. But if I'm going to be all those things to you, because I'm secure in the fact that you're all those things as a man to me. And if I can't be those, like, the best mom, like, that's my desire. Like, people are like, oh, you're such a great mom, because I love this mom shit. And if I love my nigga, I'm going to go hard for him. I'm going to go above and beyond. But how can I love a man who's going to step to me and pull me to the side and say, baby, our lights are going to get cut off because you didn't pay your $50. Where are your $50?
I see you're trying to piss me off.
I need your money. I need your money. It's your money and I need it now. I just can't do it. And it's not because I don't have it to do it, because clearly I've established myself. So if you're going to come to my table or we're going to have a table together, the table's already here. What are you bringing to it?
Agreed.
So yeah, I don't know. In 100 years, I really feel bad. I feel like these kids are fucked. I really do. I feel like there's going to be no profound gender roles. These women are going to be dating women. Men are going to be dating men, and sex is just going to be literally just to have an orgasm, and then, all right, well, same time next week, and then go about their business. Like, there's no emotional or romantically connecting like component to any of this, because how we're not getting to each other emotionally and spiritually. We're not spending enough time to make your presence a need for me.
I think that it can be different as long as we change. Like, hopefully someone listens to this and says, damn, I do this kind of shit, or damn, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of reevaluate what's going on, because if we are continuing on this path, I think that the dynamic is going to change severely. However, if we're willing to be accountable and play our parts in our relationships, I think that we'll be fine, because representation matters. If we're fine in our relationship and our children are seeing us fine, they're going to want to do the same with theirs, and so on and so forth.
Well, then I guess that's just what it is. We have to be able to hear stuff like this. Not saying that our little message here is going to change the world, but hopefully it changes somebody's mind on how they do things. And of course, I'm not trying to change no man's mind into doing 50-50. If you want to do 50-50 with your woman, do that. Just know I can't be your fucking woman. I'm
do
not
whatever
her.
Works for you guys.
But I'm just saying, it's like this mindset of things, the way we are doing things, it sucks. Y'all might not see the greater picture, and I guess that's the selfish part of us is like, well, I don't care, that they ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm gonna find somebody who like it. All right, but you're molding a mind and creating a standard that's not beneficial for anybody. So yeah, just to plug it one more time, because maybe I think a lot of men would like to read it. The book, The Way of a Superior Man. I believe that's a good read to give you guys some outlook on how a man feels about the 50-50 thing. It's not a book for women. It's a book written by a man to men, and women obviously can read it. Because who the fuck's gonna stop us? But look into that. I think that'd be dope. Women, ladies, do not let these men come into your life and half step on y'all. You don't have to give more than he's giving. Do what's fair. Sometimes fair is not always equal, and that can go both ways. If what's fair for your relationship, for you, means that you have to do the 70 sometimes, then do it, because it's fair. It's not about a woman not doing her part, because somebody somewhere in listener land got life fucked up and going to take the message the wrong way, because it's definitely not about women getting over. It's more so just do what's fair. And if you know that you got 3 kids and you work 9 to 5, come home, cook, clean, take care of the kids, bathe them, put them in bed, and repeat every day, and all he does is just go to work and get off at 6 and expect dinner on the table, is that fair? And you sharing 50-50? I don't know. Raise your standards, honey. He ain't got no choice but to raise his or get the fuck ASAP.
Straight like that.
Like that. That's so ghetto. Oh my God. Y'all forgive us. All right, but this obviously, like I said, when it comes to talking relationships, is really stressful, because there's so many components to this subject. Like, we can literally talk about any one point for hours. So of course, y'all feedback is definitely needed and necessary, because clearly this is a one that we're gonna have to spin the block 100%. On. All right, so yeah, you guys be sure to leave those comments, leave the feedback. We are loving the feedback. I don't know if you've followed our page on Instagram, but I'm going to do a better job of posting some of the commentary that we get, because y'all don't listen, y'all don't
And
go
do
on the
other than you
page
just come and say it.
and do it. They come say it to us, but I'll do a better job as far as like screenshotting responses, because y'all be getting our ass together. And a lot of women take what we're saying and they see red flags in their own lives and flaws in themselves, and they're okay with admitting that once somebody call it out. But if we don't call each other out on our bullshit, we'll just be living in a bullshit ass world. And that's if there's a mission. So I felt, for me to say it, I don't know what Rachel's point of view is, but if there's a mission to what we're doing here on our blog, on our podcast, it's to make each other better.
100%.
It's not necessarily us just sitting here talking shit. Yeah, we're talking our shit. Not saying that we're better, because some of the shit we're talking applies to us too. But it's just that it's something that needs to be said. Call us out on our bullshit. We're going to call you out on yours so that we can do better. If that's what the point is, that's where we're going with
drops
it.
mic.
Well, she said drops mic, so that's the end of the show. Same time next week,
girl.
We out this bitch. Thank you for joining us in the Gawdess Lounge. We're going to drop a picture of this podcast on our social media, so be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, the Hair Gawds. And if you're a woman, you can join our group, the Gawdess Lounge. Leave your comments and your feedback so that next week we can include you guys in our segment, and let us know how we're doing.